Karen come to think about that.
I'm there in spirit.
Okay, what session are we in Q4 coaching? Is this session 3?
Number?
I think it's week 3.
Legion,
I
before
feel like
we
it's 4.
start,
Okay.
I know some already have builders that you work with in here, but if you didn't see the post, Tammy Hecker and Greenwood switched over Friday, and they are looking for agents. They obviously have a huge chunk of inventory around the metro, and they're looking for people that start getting buildings this afternoon.
We have opens this afternoon.
I'm sorry, this weekend. This afternoon, too, no, this weekend.
I'll go finish the house.
She
Oh.
switched accounts up?
Yeah.
You know what? I knew she was switching because
Wow.
she had all of her homes withdrawn and canceled last week.
Yeah.
Pull them up and it's like.
How'd you see that, Tamara?
Somewhere.
How'd you notice that?
I follow the hot sheet.
Hot sheet.
I would say Brandon's here too.
Hi, Brandon.
Well, I always look to see who's,
You always check the hot sheets.
I do.
And that's a tip that I love to
Yeah.
give a lot of agents too, is checking the hot sheets. Seeing,
And they have, you know, a bunch of different price points, but they have those entry level 200 to 250 range that like have a huge buy pool to come through.
Where did, Mark that does all the relo, where did he go?
Who?
Mark Olson? Or not Olson,
Lee?
Mark Lee, where did he
He's
go?
at Precision.
Oh, he left Iowa, right? Went to
Yeah.
Precision. Because that's the same thing, I
Yeah,
saw all of a sudden, he didn't have any active listings. I was-
already?
Yep.
everyone got a handout?
Somebody- oh, you were the last one to get that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sign, somebody's moving.
Mhm.
Here, okay, so what else?
Anyway. So,
All right, let's get started. So today is all about lead generation, it's all about marketing, and it's all about just, you know, at this point in our careers, looking at everyone in this room, you guys are all not brand new. Many of you have been doing this for quite a few years, and you're focused on the things that we've talked about, the core 4, the sphere of influence, the open houses, direct mail, and your online presence. So we know what to do. Now what we want to do is create some additional tactics to really go deeper in those things, but then also start to plant a seed, which is kind of a little bit of a segue into one of the things I have written here about what are some of the other things that we should be doing from a lead generation standpoint. Because I want to ask everyone in this room, how many in this room could use more leads going into everybody? Yeah, 2 hands. Okay. So I have the first section, actually, I do want to kind of do this real quick because it's kind of more so a pep talk than anything. So working hard in Q4. Most agents, what they do is like, oh, they kick up their feet. And I was guilty as charged. They kick up their feet, you know, sometime about this time, right? The weather starts to get a little cold. Oh, it's gloomy and, you know, it's 50 degrees outside. I don't want to maybe work as hard. And then you put on your sweatpants and you know, rolling into November, some of us guys, it's no shave November. I don't want to know about the women. So you might not go there. And then you just kind of turn off. We have October. Sorry, did I say something inappropriate? HR?
Rachel said she did, she missed something, I'm like, no, you didn't.
Okay, yeah, do it now. No, actually, I need to slap myself when I think I shouldn't say things. But anyways, Halloween rolls around and we're having fun. We're you know, starting to think about Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving rolls around, and then all of a sudden we start thinking about Christmas. And for those of us in this room that have kids in school, next thing you know, your kids are off for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, and we just are living the life, right? Oh, the market's slow. Well, it's kind of slow because we're not working that hard. So I want to really, we right, want to erase that mindset. Especially that's one of the reasons why we are doing this Q4. So I have work hard, but then also play hard during the holidays. Remember that great times to network, great times to talk about real estate with your family. You don't want to come across having that commission breath, but it is a great time to, you know, remind people what you're doing and how you're doing and things like that. It's also a great time to do some additional networking. We've talked about, you know, some of the client appreciation events that some of our agents are doing geared towards the holidays, the reverse pop buys, and we're going to dive in a little bit about these things. I remember doing a client appreciation event around Christmas, and Rachel came. It was a Toys for Tot, and we had all kinds of fun. So think about just what you can do this holiday to really, really amp up. Bare minimum, we should be doing some holiday cards for some top of mind awareness. But I know a lot of people don't get invited to Friendsgiving. Was it Friendsgiving? Thanksgiving? It's called
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving, thank you. I was close, I said it right. Didn't sound right coming out of my mouth. But anyways, use that as an opportunity to create a new tradition, to be in front of people, and just some more networking, right? So this is meant to be a little bit brutal, but no action equals no income. If we take the next 3 months off, we're not gonna see the results we wanna see. A lot of people say, oh, I'm so slow right now, I don't have any closings. Well, closings is really a lag indicator. What we should have focused on, because 3 months ago, when we didn't have closings, we should have focused on the lead indicators. How many contracts did you write? And even before that, how many appointments did you go on? Even before that, what kind of activity did you take on a daily basis to do some lead generation, to do some marketing? So all those things that start today will help you, 45, 60, 90 days. So I just would hate for us to, speed time up, and it's January, it's February, it's March, and, this room especially says, oh, I'm so busy, or I'm so slow. It's been a terrible start to the year, polar vortex of 2020, and no one's ready to buy houses. Well, the people that are gonna be buying houses in January, February, March, they're probably starting to think about it like, right now, right? So do everything we can to be on the top of their mind. Does that make sense? So plant seeds, think about nurturing, think about how you're gonna harvest. One thing I also wanna add is, and this is maybe something John can relate to, be a hunter. So, we gotta, kill what we wanna eat. So Rachel's giving me a frowny face. Not a literal hunter, but think about it in those terms. Does that kind of make sense? Shane or Michelle, you guys want to add anything? Good. And so lastly, the things we can control, serve your sphere, serve your friends, serve your family, not just also theoretically for Thanksgiving, but be service focused. 5-star service will lead to lots and lots and lots of reviews. Deliver, under promise, over deliver with the things that you're supposed to deliver. If you have clients, and there's always next steps. We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit, but follow up with those next step things that you verbally committed to. As soon as you're done with those appointments, if you're needing to deliver a copy of the seller's disclosure, you're needing to deliver a market analysis, you're needing to deliver some additional houses for them to look at, deliver those things. Out market. Everybody in this room has the same amount of time and hopefully the same amount of energy to do marketing. Again, we're gonna talk more about that, but just this next 30, 60, 90 days, think of the different ways that you can out market and then out hustle. Does that kind of make sense? Does that sound pretty good? And I do know that if we can we have a little list here, right, Michelle, of everyone that's here. I bet you, 30, 60, 90 days from now, we read U's pep talk. Yeah, we got, work hard, play hard. That's what U said. We're gonna work hard during the holidays. I think we're gonna have a great January, February, and March. Okay, so we talked a little bit ago about lead sources. We always say core 4. If we're focusing on the core 4, we're squeezing that juice to the best of our ability. It's gonna help us lead to 24 sales, at least, if not more. But some additional things that I want to kind of give you guys an idea to start is, are you focusing on some other things? So past clients, sphere is part of the SOI, but professionals. Who in this room has tracked their business and can count how many leads, hopefully on more than just one hand, that you're getting from a loan officer? Okay, that's awesome. Anyone know exactly how many year to date that they've got from a loan officer?
Not from an LO, but I've got attorneys that I work with that I get a handful from.
Okay.
So
attorney, that's good.
yeah, from a specific loan officer, probably like 2 or 3.
Mhm.
From attorneys, like 7 or 8.
Yeah, that's awesome. 2 or 3, 7 or 8, so about 10 of so that's like 20% of your, 15-20% of your goal. I just did that math real quick in my head.
Divorce attorneys.
What's that?
I said divorce attorney.
I was just gonna ask what kind.
Oh, yeah, let's get it.
Estate.
Estate?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's good.
Now, let's ask this, let's stay on this topic. So a state attorney, is it someone that you knew before you got into real estate?
Well, ish, yeah.
Ish?
Yeah.
Okay. How many in this room are working with an estate attorney or a divorce attorney? So,
Professionally, not personally.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
That was a good one. I don't know, everyone knock on wood. But no, okay, who else in here is working, getting leads from some sort of professional?
I just got one about 5 months ago from a lawyer who does divorces by the states, and that was kind of cool. So, and I nurtured that. I mean, I sent them a gift right away and just, so, but that was one, but that doesn't mean I won't get another one, so.
That's awesome. How about loan officers? Anyone getting a good, decent amount of leads from loan officers?
I feel like mine has not been as great this year, but I've tracked, I think that my name is being given out, but I think that they already have a connection to somebody else or a friend refers them. So I mean, that's kind of been bad, but as far as closed, I've only closed on 3 with 2 different lenders. I don't know if anybody else has, that this has affected them this year, but I know all of a sudden they started getting bogged down with the refis. So then like they didn't have as many buyers because they were all, so I don't know if that's what held things up for me or what, but.
Yeah.
You constantly remind them
Mhm.
to send you stuff.
Yeah, and you know, we've really been focused ever since I've been coaching and mentoring on sphere of influence. And sphere of influence marketing, referral marketing is really broad strokes, right? Very broad strokes. So that's kind of that farmer, cultivator, harvest mentality. But the hunting part of your sphere of influence is going specific into your database and doing some strategic database mining. So that's one part is staying in front of them, like Shane was saying, but also strategically thinking, because if is that it as far as loan officers go, like just not less than 5, less than 10? How many referrals are you giving your loan officer friends? Are you giving them all, like all 100% of your people?
Yeah.
So let's say on average, our average agent does 24 deals, and then our average agent is only reciprocating back 2 to 3 referrals from those loan officers. Do you guys think that's a fair partnership? I don't think so either. And so if anything, now there are some awesome loan officers that we all love to use. You know, I won't name names, but we all love to use the guys that send us cookies every time we give them referrals. They're great guys, they're awesome. But you have to ask yourself, is that relationship one that you want to continue to send referrals to if you're not getting anything back? Is there an ROI? And if not, and it's always hard to send somebody to a new LO, right? So what we would suggest is interview them, right? Are they with the right bank or the right credit union? You know, you don't want to send them a place that, oh, thanks for the referral, Rachel, but then all of a sudden they're charging a higher origination fee or a higher closing cost, or you find out, you know, they're not great at communication and their underwriting process isn't, you know, 2019, 2020, it's 1999. So to strategically think about some loan officers that, you know, maybe they've been in the business for at least a few years. Like I love Green State Credit Union, right? Great place. I know how busy some of the top 2 LOs are, but I like the attitude, the personalities, the work ethic of Kurt Backus, and Scott Landenberg, right? I call him Scotty. So think about some strategic relationships that you can have, and then instead of being 24 to 3, we sending our loan officers 24 referrals, and we're getting back 3. At least, and it's never going to be a 1-for-1, unfortunately. And I don't want to limit your mindset that it's never going to be that way. But you know, my 13 years in real estate experience, unless Shane can, you know, tell me otherwise, I think it's more like 5 to 1. If we send out 5, we might get back 1. And if it's one of those things that we just need to pick up the phone and remind them that, hey, I haven't seen a lead from you for a while, you know, they need to be doing the same things that we're doing, right? That makes sense? Shane, got anything to add to that?
No, I mean, just continue to ask. I will say, I honestly have only had 2 in 10 years. I will say that I don't really ask. That's not been some part of my strategy. Mine's just to tell them, you know, don't try to sugarcoat things and provide good service. And then along the way, you know, they help with like co-marketing and things like that.
Yeah, at the bare minimum, I was gonna have to make a joke, like give them a guilt trip that they're not sending you any leads, but definitely the co-marketing, a lot of times they themselves have financial resources for marketing, right, Rachel? She knows that. Rachel's got a really cool program that she's doing direct mail with a loan officer, and he's kicking in at least half, if not a good chunk, right? Half. So at least,
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
on that? So being somebody that's, still working newer in the business, would you think that like, if you do sign up with a loan officer, it's like for me, I'm just gonna say me, for example, I don't have a solid 100% relationship with any LO at this point. Would you say by co-marketing with one, do you think that could damage other relationships going forward?
No.
That's the only thing that's concerned me, like if they see, some of these other ones that I'm also working on relationships with, if they see co-marketed stuff out there.
They're already marketing with other people
Okay.
beyond you.
they're not exclusive to you.
Okay.
I would say you and I are kind of the same period of where we started, and that was like my biggest fear ever too. And then I just started having the conversation with those loan officers and realized that even though this one, last year, we had so many transactions together and I wasn't her only one that she referred to. And I'm like, oh, okay, well but I was happy with the amount that she gave me too.
Mhm.
And then I flat out, I wanted to establish my 3 because we were at a website training meeting or website, whatever, to do I want to put a lender link right on my website? So I wanted to grab my 3. And this person that I had been so loyal to and was giving stuff to, and he gave me one of his friends. Basically, he wanted me to do all this stuff for him. And then he flat out told me that, he works with over 11 agents. And I'm like, 11, so in my head, I'm kind of having 3 to 5, I don't know how many is typical or normal, but I knew, and since then, I haven't gotten crap from him, and I hadn't gotten anything from him in a very long time, only one ever. But I think that since then too, I've had more lenders reach out to me that wanted, hey, can I take you to lunch or whatever, but I'm kind of more like, well, what's in it for me? And this lender flat out said, well, I didn't say that, but you get to where you're busy in the spring and you don't, and I was shopping for my 3rd because that other guy just kind of dropped me and pissed me off at the same time, right? So I basically said, well, how many leads are you getting? How many times are you needing to refer out? And he's like, I'll be honest with you. I just work primarily with Orton Homes and such brokerage, so I won't have anything to give you. I go, well, then there's no reason for us to meet. But there was really not.
Yeah.
So I've learned that I need to ask that question because some lenders have no desire and no intention to give you anything, but yet they just will take you out to that one lunch that sometimes they're
They're like,
paying
"Thanks.
for.
On to the next person.
Yeah.
Thank you. On to the next person.
Yeah.
And so this is one thing that I really want you guys to evaluate as you're creating your business plan for 2020 is we have to be strategic, right? At the end of the day, this is a business. This is definitely a business built on relationships. And sometimes, like I said, there's some super nice, awesome gals and guys in the lender world, in the insurance world, in the legal world, in the home inspection world, in the contractor world. So when I use the word professionals, think about everybody that is involved in a real estate transaction, inspector, and even the individuals within the inspection companies. Think about type of relationships that you can build with them to ask for referrals. And a lot of times it's just asking that question, but let's back up a little bit. So if you guys are sending, 100% of your leads to 2 or 3 hellos and you're not getting them back, I would definitely say, hey, I was working on my business plan this week and I wanted to revisit, our relationship, and this is what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for some co-op marketing. I'm looking for you to at least come hang out with me at an open house, right? I mean, at least do some of those things to help out. Where is their value? And if they can't provide that value, if they say, I primarily work with X, Y, Z or ABC, then I would highly, highly suggest, shop for different loan officers, network as much as possible. Okay, so some other, we're gonna do more on open houses, but things to think through about your open houses as you're tracking back your business. See, is the juice worth the squeeze on open houses? If you're doing them, my suggestion is try to do at least 2 a month. But, so if you're doing 2 a month, you've done 26 this year. And if you have, less than, a handful of sales for open houses, we probably need to refine the way that you're doing the open house. And so we've got some training on that. We've got some great marketing and then also just some great role-playing sales trainings that we can go off of. Agent referrals, how many in this room are getting, get a chunk of, well, we saw your post, so do share.
Oh,
But we
no,
won't
that's
do
a
that
different
yet.
one. I don't know how I get them. No, I don't know how I get them. I just got one from New Jersey. And I mean, like, we all know I suck at social media. I'm trying to get better. I don't know how she found
Did
it.
you ask her?
Haven't, well, maybe I did, but she hasn't answered that part yet.
Is she a Remax agent?
Yep.
Okay,
And then some other concepts agents,
okay,
if they have an area that they feel like is not, they don't want to drive that far, they'll reach out to me. And so like some of our Des Moines Metro Ankeny agents, and then some other concepts agents in,
Eastern Iowa.
yep, Eastern Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Cedar Rapids,
Yeah.
or, seems like, oh, and then our local, yeah.
Yeah.
People, so.
there are agents in our company that have more than enough leads. And if it's something that's outside of their wheelhouse, whether it's geographically or type of real estate or price range, and if push comes to shove, it may not be a bad idea. You can ask Shane and myself. We have kind of a decent knowledge of the agents that definitely could use some help. But if that's something, you never know till you ask, right? And I definitely hear about referrals all the time being reciprocated. Oh, who wants this lead or who wants that lead? But it's great to hear that, because that's the one great thing about being with the Remax network. We've got over 100,000 agents, so really making sure your profile, your picture, your, everything.
Is everybody a member of the Remax Referral Network Facebook page?
No, and
I
I
don't
was
think
gonna
so.
ask about that, because I need to get someone in Omaha, a referral, for some people moving there. Do you have anybody? Or how I should go about that?
Yep, it's Facebook, just look up Remax Referral Network. Yes, and I have your Omaha peeps, give me one
Okay,
second.
that's fine.
Julia, see if I can add you.
So again, if that's something, because what we're trying to do here is, 50, 60+% of your business, the way that we've suggested to build it is based off of your SOI and working by referral. And then we've got the other three of the core fours. But so now by just adding some systems, which we're gonna talk more a little bit in detail, these 19 things are just great ways to say, oh, am I doing this? And maybe it leads to 1 or 2, or maybe it leads to 3 or 4, or maybe you say, I love this. This is gonna be my business model. Anyone tracking any sales that have come from, Shane and I did a training last week on geo farming. Anyone getting any results from that in this room? Not yet. Okay, now that is one of the core 4, the direct mail. And so I would definitely think if that's something that you have some interest and you have some financial means to invest in, I definitely think that's something that we should think about for 2020. And if you need some one-on-one help, myself or Shane, we recorded last week's, right? Got that
we
on? Yep, and then we've got some info that we can share too.
Yeah, but yes.
Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, anyone getting any leads, tangible leads, results?
Yeah, I've had a couple from Zillow. I just started that like a couple months ago, so.
Thank you, Hazel.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, back, what Shane, what do you think, 7, 8+ years ago, 5 years ago, and Zillow was, people will say what they'll say about anything, right? So, oh, these estimates in Zillow, guess what? Clients are going to Zillow. If there's like 3 real estate websites that they go to, unfortunately, they're not going to umexahomes.com. Go check that website, I don't even know if it's live. But they're not, they're going to Zillow, right? They're going to realtor.com. They're going to Trulia. And we can't stop that, so why fight it? So if anything, making sure your bios are awesome, making sure that, everything's clean and concise on your Zillow page. I'm not saying pay to play the Zillow game, but I definitely am saying your goal should be look at some of the agents, and some of these agents on Zillow have hundreds and hundreds of reviews. And that's one way, even if they, if you're not boosting yourself or paying for yourself, be competitive, I'm not saying go out and get 100 tomorrow, easier said than done, but definitely come up with a review strategy.
What I was gonna say is make sure your profiles are 100% complete, make sure you have all the zip codes that you wanna work in, because it was like 6 months ago, Zillow changed their algorithm on how they do things. So in the past, it was always like who had the most reviews and who had the most sales, and that was just metro-wide, but now it's went down to zip code. So if John has the most sales in Adel, if someone's searching in Adel, he's always gonna jump to the top of the list, because it's based off of who has the most sales in that area. Same thing with Norwalk or Waukee or West Des Moines. So make sure your zip codes are updated, because that's you'll start to see leads come in from that.
Are you referring to people that pay into Zillow?
No, I'm saying just in general. No, so so I'll just use us as an example. We pay like $200 a month, very little. But right now, the number 7 lead source we have is Zillow. And there's been 4 deals closed off of it this year. And again, we don't really pay for it.
So how many deals, Shane?
4.
4 deals.
So we've spent like $2,000, we've made like 14. Okay, that's pretty good.
So can I ask, like, for people that either have tried to do Zillow or do Zillow, I don't know how many weeks ago I reached out, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll see how much it costs, maybe I should do something like this. And Norwalk is full, you might know that. So they're like, so I think I just put out there, like, that's all I was interested in, and like, and it's like, do you wanna be put on the wait list? So I said yes. Well, now they're trying to market me to do Carlisle, well, starting off with Carlisle and then Polk City maybe, or Granger or something, like it wasn't even, they're like, these are the only zip codes closest to you that are available. So they keep saying, do you want it? And I'm like, no, but am I still on the Norwalk list? Like, so how, will I ever be up? Like, do you guys know anything about that?
You would be up. What's gonna happen, and this is when I stopped using them 5 years ago, is as Norwalk continues to grow, you get more listings, therefore you get more impressions. When they started selling 150% of the 100% of impressions, that's when I stopped. I'm like, how do you sell 150% of something?
Yeah.
3 times. So I don't think the value is really worth it anymore. It hasn't been for quite a while. I know there are some that still do it. They spend like $2,500 to $3,000 a month.
Oh, there's a preferred agent on there that I'm like, I don't even know your name. Have you even sold a house in Norwalk?
Right.
But yet they have it, and of course they're paying for it, so they deserve to have it, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
are they ever gonna go away?
If you do what I just said because of your sales in Norwalk, make sure your zip codes are updated, get those reviews who's referring to. You will see a jump in leads from Zillow.
Does anyone in this room have it as a goal to add more reviews online?
It should be in general, not just Zillow.
Yeah, in
all
general.
platforms.
Yep, in
How
general.
do you do reviews here? Because I'm used to the previous company, they would send them out.
Those are canned. I mean, everybody does them a little different. Michelle Hansen's got a great template she sends out, and it actually gives them options to choose from, whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, Yelp, Facebook, Google, because everybody's already using their own platform. You give them what they feel is comfortable with. And then you'll see a jump in reviews, because with Zillow as an example, you have to actually sign up for an account. Well, if they're a Realtor.com person, they're not gonna waste their time signing up for Zillow.
Yeah.
So, and it's just an email that goes out.
With
Some do it,
instructions.
with instructions, yeah. Some do it after the sale. I suggest doing it right after they get it pending, but before inspection. Right, I'm dead serious, because that's when they're the happiest.
Yeah.
And then they forget after they move in because they
Right.
don't have internet and computers not set up and,
Right.
you know, and then they're busy with life.
So do you feel like one place to have reviews is better than another?
No, wherever you can have these.
Yeah, the more the better.
Yep.
Google reviews are awesome, Facebook reviews.
Because that's what we did lately, is we took all of our past clients and sent, $5
Yeah.
Starbucks card asking for a Google review or something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
wherever.
that ran them way up.
When we found when you try to force them into one location, again, like some people don't have Facebook. Some don't want to mess with Google. Some don't want to do Zillow. So give them options. Some were like, I found my people on Yelp. People were like, what's Yelp? Yelp is a thing and gaining momentum. So.
Angie's List. I mean,
Angie's
there's, yeah,
List, you know, I don't pay for Angie's List or anything like that, but this is an example. I mean, there's no bad spot to have a review.
I just give them suggestions, like, if you can't think of anything, here's some questions, what was your best thing about working with me, or, you know what I mean, like,
That's
give them
awesome.
a few things to kind of spur their memory.
Excellent
that
idea,
way, too.
yeah.
yeah, that's way awesome.
Yeah.
John, back to your coffee thing, you said something that helped ramp it up, so you saw some pretty good results with
Yeah, we
incentives.
had like 95%
Here's what,
turn rate.
which is phenomenal.
Because what we did was, I read a book called Influence, and it
Right.
says if you give something to someone,
They feel like they
owe
have
you,
to.
Yeah.
And
So,
Yeah.
we didn't say, if you give us a review, we'll send you this. We
Right.
just gave them the gift and then asked for the review, and almost 95% of
and
them
in
came
most
back with a review.
cases, yeah, that's phenomenal.
The only thing is, we have all these reviews in this one period of time.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Oh, hold on, look at last
And-
October.
And, that's the best story that I've
Yeah.
heard about reviews.
That's
because
really awesome.
Even, I did a test a few years ago. Around Christmas, I was doing a drawing for $1,000 for anyone who would go in and give reviews, like 2 people.
Yeah, what we think is if you give them the gift first, they feel like, oh yeah, I need to get that done because they gave me this.
Yeah.
So how many did you send out, John?
Oh, I don't think we sent out 30 of them or something.
Okay.
like that.
But now it's
pretty
past
much.
clients, you know,
Yeah.
current clients, you know, now it's like a quarterly $300 drawing or something. And then so usually it's, who was it? There was a lady who just had some medical issues, kind of in her 70s. She found out around Christmas and it like changed her entire season. So that was cool.
That's way cool. Yeah, so Cindy, I love John's idea, and I know
That's an excellent idea.
we,
Well, and what like Realty did, they sent it out and then it was up to us to post it on whatever social media we wanted.
He
It
said-
worked out pretty
If
well.
you send an email, you know, it's better coming from the source than you copying and pasting it to a specific, like you said, social media or whatever, because then it's legit. If you're just copying or sharing or pasting, you can manipulate that. These you cannot manipulate.
yeah, so, we'll help with some ideas, but yeah, definitely put that as, especially during the holidays. You know, people are in good spirits, they're in a giving mood, and so I love the idea of the 1,000. I'm surprised Shane didn't have as much results. One of the things I did, and in testing too, we're gonna talk more about that. You know, there's a lot of content here, guys. There was like 14 pages of notes,
Yeah.
and so we're not gonna
It's
get
about
through.
12 hours.
Yeah, we're not gonna get through all this, so this
Well,
is just,
CD for this.
yeah, but we will schedule some more, and absolutely, no, there is like this, guys, I'll just share it with you guys, between Michelle, Shane, and I, like, this is a brain dump of the last like 5-7 years of lead generation marketing notes from every convention that I've been to, every coaching program that I've been in. It's still like, you know, just the tip of the iceberg. And so we're gonna dig deeper into a lot of these after today, okay? The next one, number 8, I think if you're not leveraging the free, inexpensive things, Boomtown and Conversion, they are great. There are definitely teams that have built, agents that have built some great business models off of pay-per-click, paid lead generation activities. But Shane, would you agree that that's probably, you know, more after
Yeah,
the
you start,
low cost things?
Yeah, I would agree with that, after the low cost things, but I would also, with technology now and the things that you have available to you, as far as what Remax offers, as far as the AI that we offer and so forth, you can do the same things that are provided for free that these bigger sites are doing. If what we have now was out 5 years ago, I wouldn't have half the stuff that I would have done with those expensive sites.
Yeah.
Because we can do that now. And if I could flip a switch like that and change it, I would, but we're a little too far down.
Yeah, that's a great point, because has anyone seen any awesome results or anything they want to share with the Boost program that we launched? We're seeing the reports on our end. And does everyone know what Boost is?
Not really.
Okay, Shane?
So-
I've seen the emails.
So Boost is a new platform that we put together that launched here about 3 weeks ago. So that anytime you get so everyone gets their own dashboard. Anytime you get a new listing, then Facebook ad is automatically ran for the first 6 days. So when there's interaction online, leads come back to you, we've looked at it, there are legitimate emails with all of them. And you can continue to do the Boost after the fact, or if you want to go in and do your past list, your listings that aren't newer, you can do so. And we've seen tremendous results in what I was looking at, I really wasn't texting here, is I can see when people interact, and then we just had one an hour ago on one of our Davenport listings that said that people are requesting more information, says, looking for a ranch style home, 2-bedroom in Moline, wanting to buy, do you have anything available?
Boom.
We had an agent in Newton set an appointment, and we've had tons all over locally in the metro that actually have had good interaction.
Mhm.
So, and at the end of every day and every listing, you get a report on what's happened.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome.
It's called Boost.
Boost.
Do we need to sign up for it?
No, it's automatic.
You're automatic.
You should have
How do we
already,
see that back end stuff though?
It's in your junk folder.
you check your junk, you should have already got your login info. Like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it would have come from, Sarah with instructions on how to log in. And it would have been about 3 weeks ago.
But the thing is, what did you say, 2 weeks is how long it advertises for?
6 days.
6 days. So like if you're past those 6 days, then you don't have it anymore.
You still have the login.
Well, you still have the login, but I mean
So it's
like
for
the
things on
reports
the
and
list.
everything that it'll do on those listings.
Yeah.
You have to add a new listing since that got launched, unless you paid for something, right?
Right.
The
Then
new
we've had
listing
that
since you
people,
launched
and
it
there's
3 or
3
4
different
weeks ago.
packages, because it's based on impressions. You can go in and do those at any time.
What does impressions mean?
It's how many times people click on it. It gets in front of people and they click on it.
So if I,
Are you logged in?
is that like Boost on Facebook, a Boost that we boosted ourselves?
No, totally different. This is an actual ad they're doing for you.
Are you-
No, I'm looking at something that I.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we're gonna talk about that next, actually.
It's the same,
Like
it's
a-
similar,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a similar concept, but they are actually doing it for you in the areas that the listing is.
Okay.
It's automated, and then another thing too, it's on the Remax Concepts business page instead of boosting it from your own business page.
Right.
That's what I was
Have
gonna
any
add.
agents done the advertising part, you know how you can like promote yourself as an agent, have you had?
We have, I can't tell you who all they are, but I know we have.
Just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was referring to a minute ago. Above and beyond what we're doing, you can do squeeze pages with that platform. Like you said, you can advertise yourself with that platform. So it's another way to do Facebook stuff without getting into the back end of Facebook, which is way more complicated.
It sounds like we need to do some reminders and then repost the videos and there was a webinar too, that we'll need to repost. And then if you guys have any questions,
Does this do Instagram too?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. No, yes, it does.
mhm.
It's both.
And if there's a lot, we'll probably need to do another class.
Which
We're
we
gonna
will.
do a class.
That
Um,
webinar was helpful though, it walked through everything.
And I think the webinar is in First to Know as well.
Yeah,
It's
webinar
right
is
there.
first.
Maybe we can just pop it so it stays up top for a little
Out
bit.
of it.
Yeah. So Cameron actually kind of read our mind, on the next one is Facebook ads. You know, so the boost is free, it's automated, 6 days, but I've been seeing some awesome results from the agents that are doing boosted posts, whether it's boosting a listing or boosting some sort of events like an open house. I mean, that's part of real estate, right? Part of being a business owner is you have to invest money to receive money back. I'll speak personally from Dreamscape. You know, we don't boost as much just because I'm very macro from the social media marketing. But that's one of the ways that we built our page up to 8,000 likes. That's one of the ways that we get, 14, 20,000 impressions or views or clicks on some of our new builds is by just, it's not a lot of money either. Sometimes you can spend as little as $5, $20, and that's not too bad. So you think about a new listing or a closing or just whatever you want to promote. Let's say your goal is to do 50 deals and you spend $5. I mean, that's not a huge marketing budget. Cameron, were you saying
I was
something?
just gonna add, so I track every week where my listings, so I can send a report where they're getting the traction from.
Mhm.
Just some food for thought, and so like you can see so I had one last week where I got like 400 views on Zillow, a couple hundred on Realtor.com, I got 14,000 views on Facebook.
Boom.
Wow.
Wait, so how did you get the 14,000?
Because you can track on how many people it reaches on your business page, and so, yeah, I spent $10.
Oh, that's okay.
Nice.
So $10 to boost a post, but I mean, can you, unless you have some sort of lead gen collecting that, can you directly correlate that you got something from it? Maybe not, but when you talk about top of mind marketing, you just reached 14,000 people.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing that we're gonna talk about too as we get closer or down there. But when you do some sort of post, you have to have a call to action. And sometimes people will do too many call to actions. Go to this website here, text this, email, just too much, right? Just make it just very, very focused. For more information, go to this URL. You can create a Bitly. Remax tools give you a free Bitly. A Bitly is a shortened URL. When you copy and paste the URL, it's like 3 lines long, right? But getting a Bitly, it shortens it up for you. That's your call to action. Drive, don't have them drive to call you, because if you're in training, you're at a showing, you're in an appointment, you're gonna miss a call, and all of a sudden that lead goes cold. Do follow their natural progression. If I'm interested in a product and I'm super serious about it, instead of calling a salesperson, the first thing I do is I go to Google and I Google it, right? Okay, what is this product all about? So I read the reviews, I go to the website. So those are the same methodologies that I really think we really think you guys should have too, is send them to your store, which is your website, where you've got reviews, where you've got some great looking, images, and brand is there, and pictures all nice and up to date. And then that's how you capture that lead. And then you can, like we said, do the structural AI and all that fun stuff. But if you're not boosting Facebook ads, and this is something that we've talked about, we'll talk about more in business planning. So for Q4 and for 2020, my suggestion, and I think Shane's actually really close to my numbers too, like take your gross income, take that times 5%, and that's normally what's a good ballpark marketing budget could and should be. Some agents are a little higher than that, like 10%. You can always spend more money, but so at least start with 5%. And from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna always track your return.
Well, and that, like Cameron was saying, that's a powerful differentiator in a listing appointment, to be able to pull those numbers and just show. The average agent is relying on Zillow and Realtor.com. When you're boosting, you're getting this percentage more of impressions or eyeballs on their property. And it's powerful.
Well, and the way that I look at it too, like, we're all hunting for business, right? And so you can look at it as an agent and see, where are the people at?
Mhm.
And so if I want a couple hundred people here, or I want thousands of people to go choose from, so that's where I'm gonna focus my attention.
Yeah.
And the thing with Cameron, and this is like a different level of Facebook, but the thing with Cameron, would you say 14,000?
And yeah, I get.
So is your pixel set up on there?
By who?
Your pixel, your Facebook pixel.
I'm gonna go, no, I don't know.
Okay, so here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing with Facebook pixels. If you have your pixel turned on, he can now retarget those 14,000 people on every time he wants to run an ad. So have you ever been online and like look at shoes or something, and then the shoes start stalking you?
Yeah.
That's because they have a pixel. So if you, what's that?
Is that like cookies?
No, that's different. Cookies is like, that just keeps track of like
Your searches,
your searches.
yeah.
But, so the pixel, we can, like how the shoes stalk you after the fact, we can do that with real estate. So he can now, if it was turned on, you'd rather know.
Okay, cool.
So if,
I'm gonna go turn it on.
yeah. So he can
That
now,
one statement's worth.
Yeah.
he can now circle back and hit all 14,000 of those people with the people with a specific ad.
How do you get back to know that? Like,
So what it does is when you go to run an ad,
okay,
it'll give you the option to choose a new target list. And you can choose people who have visited your site or Facebook or whatever in the last X amount of time period.
okay.
It's super nutty, it's super creepy, but
I call it
Yeah.
creepy cool.
creepy cool, so that's a great way to put it.
And then what happens is eventually, like, I don't know when it was. It was like a few weeks ago, I thought of something, like I thought, well, maybe I should get that. And it started scrolling on my Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Yeah.
freaky.
Because it listens to you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It was the Russian.
Just don't say anything that you shouldn't.
It was a big sound.
So anyway, yeah, that gives you the option to choose.
Yeah.
And I actually, they might have taken this out. They actually used to have a feature where you could emulate people visiting the competition's
Yeah.
site.
Mhm. It's nuts, guys. It's like,
Circling pixel.
it's not like digital marketing. Like, I think what we've been coaching and teaching on is definitely not 101. and probably higher than 201. But there's some advanced things from a digital social media aspect that, there's actually, one of our agents is becoming a certified digital marketing expert just because there's just so much, Now, do we want you guys to like completely, put your face in front of the fire hose? No, but we definitely, A, you gotta be on Facebook. B, you gotta, spend a little bit of money to promote yourself and boost. But at the bare minimum, if you don't have a social media strategy, and we've talked about this until I'm blue in the face, posting at least once a day, every other day, the 80-20 rule, 80% of what you post is personal, 20% is business related, telling stories, the 60, 45, 15, 5 that I mentioned, 60 minutes of Facebook, 45 reactions, 15 comments, 5 direct messages. That's all free stuff. Sorry, Tara. We'll go deeper. But the ad stuff, though, is like taking it to the next level. And I will tell you, if Cameron's up against a listing appointment and I'm competing with them, and I just have traditional realtor marketing plan, and Cameron shows up and says, hey, I'm gonna do a YouTube video, I'm gonna do a boost, I'm gonna guarantee I can get you 15 or 20,000 impressions for a $300,000 house at a 3% on his side or 3.5%, he's probably just beat me.
So, real quick, who all has their Facebook ad manager set up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so quick way to go into the back of your manager, and up here you have a search business function. Type in Pixel.
I know.
PIXLE?
PIXEL.
Where are we
So
going?
search. Yeah, be in your ads manager, and you have the top right.
This is your business page, right?
Yeah.
The back end of it.
Yeah.
I need this.
Where are you going, Shane?
I'm going into ads manager.
It's under business tools.
Yep. Can you
Where am I at?
go?
Is it manager ads?
Ads manager.
Be faster for you.
That's a great picture.
See, I have it here. Ad center. Today I've reached 0 people.
You're winning.
So that's a lead indicator, guys, back to like lead indicators, that's a lead indicator that isn't gonna help our lag indicator, so that's
So
why we're gonna
right up here,
double down on our efforts.
see this, yep, so we're in the back end where it says search business,
Type in Pixel.
and then type in Pixel. It's gonna be really embarrassing if ours is not set up.
Under ads manager?
You can see.
Ad center.
Facebook Business Manager.
But my page looks different than what.
Oh, this one, that page.
What does this do when you type
You wanna
in?
go to your Business Manager.
Okay, start, so you have to go to the arrow, drop down arrow over in the corner.
And it's manage ads.
Hold, give me 1 second. We're just going a little slow.
We can't.
There's a lot running on that right now.
And you know what, guys, this is stuff that we'll have to do some more
Yeah,
training
we will.
on.
So-
Like, we got 10 minutes left and I only got
Business manager. So the drop down menu, you can choose. Then that might mean that you're.
Clean that out.
What's Bad Girl?
What?
One of the pages out there was Bad Girl.
It's an acronym for Believe, Achieve, and Dream.
I was gonna say, this is
It's a scrapbook group.
I love it.
Bad girl scrapbook.
We contrasted with the little old ladies.
I got that.
Okay, so
No,
business manager is not coming up. Clearly, I'm far behind.
Business
What have I
manager's not
done?
coming up.
Wait, but are you on your personal or your business
I
page?
do see it.
What's the create, now she's on, hers says create data sources, create a Facebook. She's
Yeah,
on your,
make sure you're on your business page.
I'm on my business page, but from there,
she's there.
Sounds like we need,
Type.
we do have a lot of
Search.
I did. I clicked on it.
Oh, you already clicked.
Yeah, we need to
Okay. Yeah, no.
All that's coming up is Stonegate townhomes from 8 years
Okay,
ago.
so now.
Are you on your-
District manager.
Oh.
She'll be
Well,
probably
and-
set
So,
up
yeah,
some-
this means you're,
So my
Okay,
real
so it's not
estate one
set
is not connected
so
to it.
you will want to follow those
Yeah,
steps.
go to your
Okay.
real estate one and then go to the business.
What
page.
is
I
Go to your-
do, and that's what I did.
And you go just one.
So Cameron gave an example of running a Facebook boost and it hitting 14,000 people
In 1 week.
in 1 week. So I was talking about if the pixel's set up, you can now retarget those 14,000 people.
This is like.
And then we
Mind
realized that not
Honestly,
everyone has a pixel set up.
Well, and
Yeah,
So
look
if
at
you're
this.
searching for a jacket in online and the jacket
Doing
starts to
very
follow
well,
you,
but we need
it's because they
to-
grab your
Well,
information
we've
and
got the
it's with the pixel.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Oh, when is that? Yeah. Real quick, guys, this is, I didn't,
On
we
a
didn't
side
really
note.
go too much
Yeah.
into this, but tell them everyone about the social
Yeah,
space.
we've got the social series coming up with, I think we have 10 different sessions coming up, starting the first week of December. And Facebook 201 will be one of those, where we'll deep dive into this. And so if you don't find it before that, and I think the timing is awesome, because it is that time of year that even when we're reaching out, it can feel a little bit slower. And so you can really implement all of these social strategies. So it's the social series. Look for a disco ball and Eventbrite.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, guys, and then we won't dig as deep, but we'll keep going through the lead source list. YouTube, I do know that people are, watching real estate agent, builder videos on YouTube. It's a great, great way to get more traction. Google, YouTube, they love all those things. And if you have the hub and spoke methodology that I talked about earlier, it's gonna help your ranking. So again, things to analyze as you're looking at your lead generation sources, blogs. Don't feel like you have to become a writer. There's so much that you can copy and paste. The National Association of Realtors has some great swipe material. NAR has some great stuff too. There's a lot of different agent marketing companies. It's all free.
just make sure if you swipe anything to give credit to the source. Otherwise, Google will suppress you.
Also, I was gonna say too, I think, Celeste Soldro has like great data. And he had posted a while ago, I don't think he has it yet, but he was going to create it so that you could brand it for yourself.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice of them.
So I don't know how far along he is in the process, but I had talked to him like a few, months ago about it.
And the one thing too, like DMAR, if you ever go to DMAR's site, they have market stats on there that are shareable as well, which I think come from us.
And Matrix has those as well.
Mhm.
So you can go straight to Matrix under market stats on the top and find really most of what Les uses. He just makes it really pretty.
This is getting more advanced too. Like if anyone in this room is doing pay-per-click ad, it's definitely a great tool for a lot of internet marketers. But again, that is definitely going to be more of a high cost type of thing. So let's focus on the low cost things, right? Relocation, anyone get much lead? Jen?
No. So that's what I was gonna ask, like, where are we with that? Because from the people I've talked to, we haven't gotten anything from that.
Oh, we get a lot from it, but the thing with that, so when we went through that class that we put everyone through, it was to give you the essential credentials that you need to get the relocation. Relocation, like anything, is a connection business, making contacts. The people that get the relocation, like one in particular, found the gatekeeper at Mercy and got that in. As a company, what we did is provide the support and the credentials you needed to win those appointments and win those deals.
So we've
And so-
opened up the highways.
Right, because
So
what
it's-
would happen before is you'd go up against some of the other traditional companies and we would lose because we weren't set up in anyone's system, we weren't part of the ERC, we weren't anything in regards to that.
Well, so I thought that we were on the list as far as if you have referrals.
We are, but-
So like one time, somebody like wanted me, I'm like, yep, I'm supposed to send you to to the relocation person, because I thought that's what we were taught in that training, was that it needs to go through this person and then it gets shot out to us. Is that something I should have just held on?
No. If we got a request and anybody's, at the end of the day, I see all those. So if there was, I specifically ask, if I don't see a name, did they request anybody? And when they do, that automatically goes over to the agent, no questions asked. If they don't, then it then goes to who would be next in line. And 99% of the time, the people know who they want to work with.
So we built the infrastructure, because before,
So like,
we didn't have that.
Right.
But now we are definitely very, very competitive when it comes to some of those traditional brokerages that were earlier to us to that. But Shane is 1,000,000% right. Now it's just all about building
yeah, so like when I
relationships.
heard the one agent found the Mercy person, like I was just mind blown because they ended up with some doctors and some of the head, the key staff at Mercy. I don't know how they tracked them down. We could have stopped them, I don't know.
I
But
think Century 21 lost Cardis, so I would think.
we're on the Cardis list.
I didn't hear about the Century 21.
Yeah, we are approved with everybody as, to do their deals. Brookfield is still in contract with a couple people, so we don't get those sent directly to us unless requested. But as they come up for renewal, I think we'll start to see a change there also.
So
How do we
as
get,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
how do we get involved in this?
So if you have not gone through the Relo course, and I'll be honest, it's not very hard. It basically, we outline what a B.
Explains the ERC.
It explains what the ERC is, it explains the BMA, it explains all these things so that if they ask, hey, does this agent know, can they do a BMA? I can legitimately say yes and vouch for it. So we have different, we have actually it all typed out. We came up with it a long time ago as if an agent's requested what the situation is, if they're experienced, not experienced, buy side, list side, and if the relocation director, which is Andrea Taylor, is involved or not. So the only time she's really involved is if the agent is not necessarily experienced and or if she's requested.
So when is that class?
Do we have one coming up?
I don't have one scheduled, but
Yeah.
if we have a need, we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and
Yeah.
schedule it.
Well, I have to want.
Well, and
You have a wand as well.
split for relo, because usually the splits are pretty big, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the relocation company takes 38 to 42%.
Right.
Now, some companies will let you negotiate that. Where we are different from everybody else is, so you have the relocation split and then there's a split with the company. We do not take any separate split for relo.
Unless you have Andrea help you.
That has nothing to do with us. That's,
Yeah, yeah.
that's Andrea
Yeah.
and the scenario. As a company, we do not take anything extra. We just put it in place so that you can win those listings and those buyers against the other company.
Yeah, and if you don't do a lot of relocations, Shane was mentioning earlier, I mean, they are a lot of work.
They're a ton of work.
I would always have
but
someone.
If you can get in, it is a nice cherry. I don't think anyone can build a business on relo, but it is a nice cherry on top.
Mhm.
These BMAs that we're referring to, more so on the listing side, are kind of like REOs. You have to provide a report to them every 2 weeks as to what's going on, how many people have looked at it, what's the market doing. It is very time consuming.
Yeah.
I personally do not like them.
I think
Yeah.
Mark Lee is building his business on them, right?
I honestly have never really seen him do anything.
He has in the past.
Maybe-
One of the things that he really did to build his business is work on expireds, which is number
Say
16.
Up in the new construction.
Yeah, expireds. And guys, like we said, they're 19 here. We're recommending a core of 4 things to do to help you build a good chunk of business. All these additional ones, like Shane just said, these are cherries, and maybe these are more than just cherries. Maybe these become, a good chunk of 10, 15, 20% of your business. Now, and we're not saying not everyone's comfortable with door knocking. Not everyone's comfortable calling for sub-owners. Not everyone's comfortable expired. Pick the things that you enjoy, that you're gonna have fun with, that are gonna be high return for you, and then go for them. So again, what time is it, guys? This is a 1. We're 2:01. We didn't even get page 1. Why don't we go through number 1 and then we'll call it a day unless you guys want to stay. I know I need to meet with a couple agents after this, but I'm gonna Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, that's a great place to learn how to market yourself as a real estate agent. Let's skip 15 for now. Expired and for sale by owners. We actually have a listing Q4 coaching in a couple weeks. I can't remember exactly the date, but I've curated and compiled like 36 different ways for you guys to get listings. Okay, so I'm really excited about that. Door knocking, it's super old school, but a lot of things that are old school and traditional ways to build business is still relevant today. But I'm not recommending you go door knocking if you don't love it. I am definitely recommending if you're out walking your dog or with your family or kids, have some of those things. Why not just if you see someone, make an introduction, especially if it's your neighborhood, especially if you don't love seeing other people's signs on your street, make those introductions. There's definitely going to be more things that we can talk about. Because door knocking, everyone thinks, oh, I'm gonna walk up the door, da, da, da. There's digital door knocking, there's direct door knocking with the direct mail things that we're talking about. So there's some very smart ways to get into people's doors. Gene?
Well, and again, it's not for everybody, because I personally have never done that. I don't know that I would, but I know an agent in the Ankeny market who went into retirement as a teacher and started as an agent. That's what she did for the first year. And most of her business came from that. She didn't always do it the right way, but make sure you're doing it right. But what?
Is she with?
No,
She's
not
with
with
another
Contact.
company.
Yeah, you probably know who it is.
I do.
Yeah, she'll walk up the door if there's a sign in the yard or not. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Cameron knows.
Definitely.
But again,
Mike Reagan does a ton of that too. He does a lot for sale by owner.
He actually has got an excellent
Yeah.
program that he does.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
Okay, let's go through one and then we're just gonna go a little bit past two. Let's go through one and then it sounds like we still have a lot more to cover in future trainings. So again, we've talked about organizing your database. We've talked about creating referral marketing plans, the touches, the newsletters, things like that. But this is being more strategic with your SOI. And so making time to contact them. And one of the things I tell Joy this all the time, like I have to be mentally prepared. It's gotta be on my calendar for me to be amped up to do whatever I need to do. So A, put it in your calendar, but then B, make sure that your leads or your lists are ready to go. Right now, one of the best clients to have is someone that bought a house at least 5, if not 7 years ago. They bought in a very great time when values were lower. National averages is 10 years is how long someone stays in their home. Back in the day, if it was 5 years ago from 2010, people were upside down. They weren't making money. So look through your database, look and create a list of those type of people. Look and create a list of friends that that are having kids, or friends that that they're now empty nesters, friends that that are entering retirement phase in their life, friends that that have gotten promotions or unfortunately don't want you guys to be like ambulance chasers or going through some sort of divorce or estates and things like that. And I'm not saying calling them and saying, hey, I see you're going through a divorce. When can I come over and do a listing appointment and put my sign up? No, absolutely not. They're gonna kick you off the phone. But what I am saying though is, think about ways that you can connect with them. Hey, John, I'm just in your neighborhood. Just thought about you. Haven't saw you in a long time. How's your family? And I've preached this so many times. How's everything going? From a job standpoint, the occupation. How is your recreational, your hobby life? I know hunting season's coming up. Are you're all ready to go? Things like that. But we have to do those types of things, and it doesn't have to be a phone call. It can definitely be a text message. That's A-okay. We live in such a digital world now that sometimes that's better. That's a better use of your time and their time, and they still appreciate it. If anything, the direct messages that you can send through Facebook, especially if you got hundreds, if not thousands of friends, those are becoming the new personal notes. People used to preach in the 90s and the 2000s, personal notes, still definitely important, but that direct message is definitely, probably equally weighted. So just think about those things that you can do to really dig into your SOI. But by data mining your sphere of influence, though, becoming a connector, helping them out with maybe things that that they need and vice versa, it's just going to create more energy for what you guys are trying to do. One of the things too, these are just kind of some additional things. I've actually had a lot of great benefit from gamifying things, having metrics. If you watch sports or if you're a Fortune 500 company, everything is so metric based. And so if you have some stats that you can give yourself, try to make those 5 touches a day. Try to add 5 new people into your sphere of influence every day. Have, conversations. There's a stat that I got from Tom Ferry, I didn't give him credit here, but every 40 conversations should lead to at least 1 sale. If you want to do this and, you need an accountability partner, challenge a friend. I know in this room, I know that there's a few of you guys that are in accountability groups together. And for me, Matt knows me very well, Shane and Lancey too, but you challenge me to something, loser buys lunch, it's game on, right? And so think about those things and how you get inspired and motivate. Definitely the one thing too, don't practice on clients if you're feeling uncomfortable. I mean, they're gonna sense that. They're like, man, that doesn't sound like Shannon. It sounds like Shannon's trying to sell me something. And that's gonna be a turnoff. So the next time you call them, they're not gonna be so eager to pick up the phone and be chipper to talk to you. So practice, do some role playing. The one thing I think I might even mention this to a few of you guys in this room, is Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, who to this date is the richest comedian that we've ever seen. The way that he tracks his success is by not breaking a chain. And so what he's done is he's got these calendars, and every day that he can prove to himself or check off that he's written comedy, he's written for at least an hour, he writes an X. And so for, whether he's on vacation, whether he's working, whether he's whatever, he just continues to write material, and he doesn't want to break that chain. So what I'm trying to relay that to you guys is don't let your chain be broken by not touching and reaching out to your people. So it's the law of the universe, it's karma. Whatever you put out, you will receive back. So I think that's as far as we're gonna get, unless you guys want to keep
I have
going.
one final thing. Obviously, like we said, we got like 14 pages of stuff here. If you read it, it can be overwhelming. Focus on 1 or 2 at a time. Get those into place before you move on to the next ones. If you've already got a couple in place, great. Do, same concept. Focus on 1 or 2 at a time before you move on to the next one.
Yes, and that's actually my number 3. So whatever does start to work, because we have so many things, really would love to see you guys create some systems so it can be automated, it's organized. And sometimes those things, when we have you look at it, as far as is worth Jen's time, or is it worth, someone that's helping Jen with her business? And so that way you guys can really prioritize things. But once you create these systems, or these lead generation systems, figure out ways to organize it and automate it. And if you need help, I mean, we've got some of the best in the business sitting in this room. Does that sound good? Sorry guys, we didn't get very far, but we got more that we'll schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is, I did a training last year on setting up the business page, making sure your pixel's in place. That was recorded and put online, so you should be able to find it there. If you have issues, let me know. I
Where
can
is it?
talk our YouTube page. I can probably talk you through it. Or get make stuff up along the way at least.
Or Facebook tool.
This handout though, take a look
Well,
at
I'm
it.
saying if they want to do it before then.
Yeah.
It's really a dump of all the things that I've known from marketing and lead generation. And if there's anything that piques your interest and we want to sit down and go over it one-on-one, definitely let me know. All this stuff I believe in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Everybody knows we get it too.
I know.
Like people knew that we were out.
Let me look out for you.
All of a sudden, phones are like, hey, where's the best place to?
That was